see. We had a lot that we did, not anticipating that we was going to have this electrical problem. But now we're here. So, did you hear that? Sister Moffman says she thinks Shalon does an excellent job. It is a big, Brad, could you? These are the agendas. I'm sorry. So now we're here. Let's start talking about, we did the financial recap. Let's stay on that when we're talking about finances and talk about what we're running into now. He's passing out the meeting agenda. Brad, just hand somebody like a whole stack and have them move them around with you so we can move quickly. Thank you, sir. So what Brad is passing out, you'll be getting the agenda and you'll be getting a quote for ATT Complete Property Maintenance Group, LLC. That is the quote we have for the electric. Let me explain what's going on with that electric while you're here. We spent a lot of money, your money, taking care of getting that stuff, getting that place back there together and what we wanted to do. The day we were showing it, I don't know if you all were back there, but the day we were showing it, the electric went out. Half of the electric. I called an electrician who's a young man. He came, Deacon Moody was down there with us. He came and figured out what the issue was. He found that there was only certain circuits that were working, took us outside, and outside, water had gotten into the system and fried one of the wires. So we were going to get him to do it. He's a licensed electrician. He was going to give us a great price. However, when he came to start to do the work, he found out that there was a lock on our meter. So we had to call AEP and then put in a service ticket. We called AEP. They pulled our meter, said we were in violation of city code. Basically, this hasn't been upgraded for almost almost 30 years. That electric hasn't been upgraded. So we've gotten away with not having it upgraded. We got a 100 amp service. The building needs at least a 200 amp. So AEP pulled our meter and will not give us the meter back until we get that done according to code. Hence, I had to call an electrician who has the insurance to do it. This young man is an electrician, but he works for a company, and he was going to do it as a favor for us. This company's out of town, but when he found that out, he couldn't pull a permit, so a permit had to be pulled. So this is what we're looking at. You can see that. That's basically a quote of what needs to be done, and the price is $8,089.99. That is his company. $8,889. That is a discount. That's a $1,000 discount. It was like $9,000. Of course, I talked to my brother Mark. My brother Mark said, "Man, if I was up there, I'd do that to you for $20." But we can't do that. We have to do it properly and right because Shalana just talked to the insurance people, and I think this building here is insured for like $800,000. And the building back there is like $300,000. So we've got over $1 million of property. So we've got a pretty good net worth. We got over $1 million net worth as a church. So we're doing good. And we got about $11,000 in the bank. But we have to get this done. Now, to get it done, it's going to cost $8,000. We have $11,000 in the bank. Here's my dilemma. It is not good stewardship to pull all that money out of a reserve we have and only be left with $2,000 or $3,000. That I wouldn't do that at home, and I don't want to do that here. Not good stewardship. My goal is to get our reserve up to I know this sounds far-fetched for a church our size, $50,000 eventually. It's not, is it? When we get to $50,000, we can pull $10,000 out and do a repair because they're going to come. These buildings are what, over 100 years old. So they're going to come, but we just don't have the reserve at this point. We're looking into borrowing some money. I don't really want to do that, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do because you know how I preach about debt. The Bible says that the borrower is lender to the borrower is a slave to the lender. I don't want Glorious Church to be a slave to anybody but Christ. So we're going to have to get this done, and we're probably going to have to borrow some money to get it done. That still is not going to mean we're going to raise money, and I'll let Tara talk about some things we want to do, because I can't say just give, because people are struggling. I get it. We're all struggling, but I think we can do some things lined up to at least raise a lot of money to cover that. Does that make sense? I want to at least cover it. So I'm looking at probably a loan, if we can get a loan at $15,000, and here is why. We're looking at about $9,000 to get the electric. If you look at the annex, I took pictures, but I didn't get them uploaded. Our gutters around the annex are starting to wear out, and it's starting to eat the foundation of the annex. So if we don't take care of that when we can, it's going to be even more. You know, you're going to talk about a $20,000 fix just for that. So we probably need to jump on that as soon as we can and get this money. I'm thinking about borrowing the money if we can do it, but on two conditions. I'm not going to put our church up for collateral. If they say you have to put the church up for collateral, I'm not going to do that. We have $1 million worth of property. I'm not going to do that for $15,000 loan. I mean, let's face it. Most of us in here could go to the bank tomorrow and sign for a $15,000 unsecured loan. I'm not going to do that. So if they want us to do that, I can't in good faith do that. As your pastor, I can't do that. We cannot put this place up. We'll rather do without, raise the money slowly. We have the BIC. We can use the BIC until we get this stuff raised. So that's where we're at. The loan is not off the table, but, you know, we're going to see if we can do that. If we can do that without jumping through a lot of hoops and a lot of red tape, then we'll do that. If not, we're not going to do that. Say, Mike, you got to put the church up for collateral. It's not happening. I know Bishop and Deaker, I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And I'm going to be honest. If they say, Mike, you as the pastor have to co-sign, I could co-sign for that loan. Absolutely, I could. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Not that I'm scared that the church would default on the loan, but Tara and I are working hard to get out of debt. You know, and I know we won't default on the loan, but I don't think that God wants us to take that step if we just can't say, hey, can we have it? If they say we can't have it, we can't have it. Now, they look at our statements of what people are bringing in. So that's why Shalon had to keep this, and that's why we ask you to give, because we'll give that to the bank. They want to know how many members you have. We can say we got 65, 70 members. Then they're going to say how many of those members financially support the church. That's the numbers they want to see. They don't care if you come in and shout. They want to see who's bringing money to the table in case they give us this money. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at that. Again, I applaud you for your giving. $59,000 is a great income for 1 year. But we put 53 out. The good thing is we're in the black. We weren't in the red. And, you know, if I was the government, we'd just keep spending. I'll get this loan. Who cares? You know, we'll pay it back. But I just don't think that's good. I think, you know, and I don't want to tax everybody's pockets, so we need to work. You know, we said we're beyond chicken dinners now because everybody got jobs. Well, maybe we're not. Of course, Tara said we got a fish fry, but we need electric to have a fish fry back there. Kind of defeats the purpose. So that being said, I'm going to ask Tara to stand up, and she's going to give us an ideal or talk about an ideal that she had. Sure. Yes, there was a time limit. We wanted to say, what did we say? May? I think we wanted to have enough raised by May. Now, granted, we're going to put these fundraisers on and do this, but we're not going to wait. But we just want to put this money back in a reserve because if we have to take out this loan, we don't want to be behind the 8 ball. So we want to try to get this in by May.
That brought in a lot of money. So my ideal was.
Can you hear her, Sean? Here, talk.
Can you hear me now? But before COVID, we always had the calendar event, and everyone loved the calendar event, probably but me. But Michelle loved the calendar event, and it did bring in quite a few. It brought in some money. So my suggestion was, let's just start that back up. That's money we could raise for the church. I also mentioned maybe doing a song fest, bringing in people, different churches and different groups to. So, I mean, those are just ideals that I thought of. I did say that fish dinner, but yeah, we ain't got no electricity back there, so we ain't having no fish dinner. Maybe later.
Fry fish in the annex anymore. So what we have been doing in the past is frying it outside.
Oh, yeah.
So necessary this spring, if necessary, we need to do that. We can still.
Well, if we had a fish fry, it would definitely have to be outside anyway, because I don't like smelling like fish, so it needs to be outside. So, but those are just two ideals. Like I said, so if we get them, even if we get the money, I still want to do the fundraiser so we can get that paid off even sooner. Like your pastor said, he don't like borrowing. And I had to really talk him into at least considering it. He wasn't, y'all took a lot. But yeah, but those are my ideas. I think the calendar event would be something that we could do again. Calendar event is each lady takes a table each month. There's 12 months, and then you invite someone to your table. They pay for a ticket. So yeah, and we always have a guest speaker come. Yeah, the community really enjoyed that. So yeah.
Always competitive. Every year we wanted to beat the year before. If you do easy math and you sell 10 tickets at $25 a table, 10 people at one table, $25, that's $250 a table, times 12 tables is $3,000. We always had overflow tables. We never just stopped at 12. And so there would be years we would bring in $5,000 from one calendar. Did we work our tails off for it? Absolutely we did. But for 3 hours, $5,000, we couldn't walk to our houses from our cars at the end of the night, but we still had thousands of dollars. And the community, as we said, we did it year after year after year.
I have a suggestion. What about a square breakfast that Patty used to always have? Oh, yeah. That could be another fundraiser.
Yeah, we would have to. And then if we didn't get the money, we had to wait, we had to rent the bed or something. But yeah, like I said, any suggestions to raise the money?
Let's go old school and do pew rounds.
Few rallies where you invite people to throw
A lot of times we had a pew rally. But what is, I mean, how did that go?
Fill your pew. Everyone has a pew and you filled your pew.
Yeah.
And it's about donation. You fill my pew, you donate.
Oh, you tell them, bring it
So
all.
here it is.
Make it pay. I'm sitting
No, you don't have to pay a
get this done.
Shut up, Sean. Well, it's not even that. It's just because we were so blessed to get that done, and then the devil thought, okay, I'm just going to throw another wrench into that. No, you're not. You don't get the right to defeat us. We're bigger than that. So yeah. Oh, shut up. And this is why I don't talk. Give him back. Give him that back.
That being said, you understand the direction we want to go. Does anybody have any objections to us going that route?
Let's do it now and not later.
Now, granted, we come to the deacon, bishop, we get together, we talk about this stuff. We'll decide. But you're the ones that's giving, so if you say, I don't know if we can do that, if everybody says we can't do that, then we can't. But I think everybody's in agreement. If we can do that route, we'll go that route to get that done. Also, let's push this $50,000 initiative to get that reserve in there and just have it sit there. I know it seems crazy, but we can do that.
And not only that, my way of thinking, we brought all this money in, but every year we have that always, we did a lot as far as the TVs, getting in. So
Tara said we brought a lot of money in and a lot went out, but this is not a normal year of going out. We spent a lot of money going out.
So a lot of times that money is going to go to the bank.
But as you can see, it's stuff that we need. Now, Bishop will probably say we didn't need that TV back there, and I don't know if Pam and Evangelist, I don't know if you guys would say we don't need that back there, because I know you probably can't see it. But with my glasses, I can see that back there. So this was a necessity. These went out. These were good. And to get this reserve, we have microphones, but the microphones are probably 5 years old. And technology changes. And after so many years, technology just doesn't work. And so we need to try and keep up with this stuff. And we've got electric here. We've got furnaces. We need to get that stuff up there. So we'll move. Yes.
I only have just one thing, which is while we touch on. So because I'm with you, I hate to go and get a loan and go in debt. And so if we have to do that, giving a loan for those reasons, you still have an opportunity to make principal-only payments, is that correct? To pay down the balance to get it paid off early?
She said, in getting a loan for the improvements, do we have the ability to pay principal-only payments? In other words, the loan that we get, on this one we're looking at, was there an early payoff penalty? There you go. 15 grand. Michelle wanted to pay for that right now. You know what I'm saying? 15 grand. I know you can't help it. That's Joe Biden's fault right there, huh? So now we know where we're at. We're looking at $15,000, $300 to $500 a month payment. If you look at what we got coming in, that's definitely doable. But we'll keep giving. Yeah. So yeah, like she said, the property we have there was $520 clear up until March. No. Yeah, clear up until March. So we're done paying for that. We had taken out a little bit of money to get this done. We paid that off. So you guys have been great to get the parking lot done.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear everything. Okay. I just want to understand this. Are we talking about borrowing $15,000 and then we're talking about ways of paying
talking about borrowing it, but working it. The church financially can take on a $500 a month payment with no problems, but we don't want to keep that for 5 years or 3 years. We want to get it paid off in a year, so we have to do fundraisers to get that done. You see what I'm saying? BT?
I was just concerned, she was talking about the funds you have available now, the $50-some thousand. Have you guys ever thought about maybe taking a portion of it, just accumulate, this is a start, to maybe invest that into some like CDs or something, or bonds or something?
You know what?
I mean, not all, but I just, every month, so just put something in there, because it grows very interesting, it's kind of hard to
I never thought about that. I think that she's talking about, we've got money and we ever talk about going and buying a CD with something and getting that return in 6 months on that.
And they're short-term CDs, you don't have to take them out. They've got CDs as short as
6 months.
6 months.
Right. I love that idea. Now, I think what we'll do is we'll get a committee together and we'll attack that, because when you start doing that with the church, I have no problem with it because it makes you money.
Start doing what?
Investing some of the money that we get into CDs and stuff. I think there's a short-term CD now that's turning 7%, 6 to 7% every 6 months. So,
I will tell you on those CDs though, you usually have to put at least 10,000 in them.
there you go. Well, we can look into those.
Some of them.
We can look into it, but I know in order to get that bigger rate, you have to have at least 10,000 put in them.
So yeah, I like that, and I think when we get to that place, we can take several $1,000s out and buy a CD. And I think most of us in here have something like that going on in our personal lives. So yeah. So I like that. CDs are good. Great idea. Great idea. And there is a church and organization that does that. They have an actual financial advisor who goes into the church, and he's invested. And I heard that church has $1 million liquid. So, like that's cash money they can get to. That's something right there. So maybe we can look into that. Absolutely. All right. So we know where we're headed. We know where we're going. You got the quote for that. There's no quote on the spouting right now, but we will get to that. I don't see it being too much. A few $1,000 probably to get that. Okay, you go up there and hang out yourself. I ain't up there. All right, let's move on to the next item. Number 3 is the service operation. The service operation, this is something that I want to see done. Tara wants to see done. I think we all want to see done. Our ushers, we got those young people starting to usher. I think we only have one usher here today. But here's what we need. We need an adult usher, and I know Tara's talked about that with the ushers. We need an adult usher back there with the kid. To teach them. So thank God for Charlene and James and Hal. And those that do usher here, we thank God for all of you. And I want to see the young people, but I think we were so enthusiastic, we just threw them back there, and now, they weren't calling the things of order like they should. So just kind of work with them, Charlene and all the other ushers, and get them going. Deke started something that I really liked, and they stopped when the young people got there, but him and Deacon Brady were back there every Sunday morning welcoming people in. I'm going to ask if you guys can do that again for me. I just think that's a good thing to have them back there and just welcoming people in and saying, hey, welcome. So if you guys can do that like you've been doing, and then as the service gets started, just come on and take your seat. But if you guys can continue to do that for me, I really like that, because when people come in, I just think that was a good touch. So if you guys can do that. Let's move on to visitor welcomes, and this is for my ministers. I'm going to change up how we welcome our visitors. Again, thank you for what you're doing, but I want to change how we welcome visitors. So ministers and ushers are going to have to work in concert to get this done. So ministers, when we welcome our visitors, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to thank God for all of our visitors. If you are a first-time visitor, we want to say welcome. The ushers will have a card. The ushers will have a connect card. I'll write something down. Would you please get a Connect card if you're a first-time visitor and fill the Connect card out and then return it to the usher so we can keep in touch. All right, and then we welcome them. If you're a first-time visitor, just indicate so our ushers can see you by waving your hand. Then we welcome them in as a church, and the ushers, it will be your responsibility to give them this Connect card. And then the Connect card will have all their information, all their contact information, and then we'll get it back, and then I'll personally write a letter, send an email, or send a phone call thanking people who's a first-time visitor. The reason why I want to do that is we're comfortable, but maybe every visitor is not comfortable. So we want to make it as minimal intrusively as possible, if that is such a word, and just ask them to wave their hand. Ushers, you give them the Connect card with a pen, and the instructions will be to fill the Connect card out, give it back to one of our ushers, and somebody from the staff will be in touch with you, put your need in there. Yes.
I actually ordered today, welcome bags. So the card will be in there with a pen, with the welcome,
Tara said she ordered welcome bags with
yes, and that way, when there's the pen, the welcome.
Connect cards in there. We're trying to raise money to get our electric fixed, and she buying gift bags.
We're trying to get our electric fixed, and you're out buying welcome bags.
So that's what I would like to see. And it's not a big change. It's really not a change. I just want asking the ushers to be back there with the kids, and we can have more than one kid usher. You know, they can want to be standing here or whatever. And then I want, if you don't mind, the deacons to be greeting. You know, it's just good to have somebody greeting them and bringing people in and welcoming people into the church, especially our first-time visitors. And I think it should be a couple men back there. You know, ladies are coming up the step, helping up the step. We'll get you umbrellas if it's raining. You see a lady walking down the street, run out there, just do the juggling thing. I think hospitality will go a long way. So again, thank you for all of that. And I will have it for our ministers, just kind of like what kind of what you to say, you know, raise your hand, they'll have the Connect cards. So as soon as Connect cards get here, we'll make sure the ushers get them. And then if you can let all the other ushers know when that announcement's being made right before offering, that you tell them, hey, give them a Connect card. And in that way, we can keep in touch with them. Evangelist.
Brad Coleman used to, when it was raining out, this has been years back, but when it was raining out, he had an umbrella, and he would come out if your husband or whomever would drive women up to the front of the church. They would bring the umbrella and bring them into the church so that they wouldn't have to walk in and be wet, that kind of thing, make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, I was up in Detroit, and they do that in Detroit. They have greeters, and Jeremy does it too. Jeremy Beverly, he has people standing outside of the church, and they help the women up into the church to greet them.
Just what I want you guys to do, if you don't mind.
Stand up.
Now, the run about Detroit, they didn't have umbrellas, they had guns. Y'all just said no. They had guns. So,
And besides that, it's colder than ain't nobody been outside.
yeah. So that is pretty much that. I also want the birthdays. I know people in this church, Sister Tina does all of our birthdays. She gets the cards. Tina doesn't like to know that. She doesn't like to be known, but she does that, gets everybody the cards.
She said, no, I sent cards, but I haven't sent birthday cards.
Oh,
But
well,
I'll
she
go
sends
with
cards.
No, I send like, day birthday cards.
Okay.
But I haven't.
And I truly thought you had the birthdays. I will get them for you.
No,
So here's what I'm going to ask.
But I'm gonna start.
We're going to have a tablet here next week, and I need somebody to get everyone's birthday
Yes.
in the entire church. So that way, because this is how I find out birthdays. I look at Facebook. Tara said, hey, so it's that birthday thing. And I write it down on top of my sermon so I don't forget. So I think we can do better on that and just give the birthdays. And yeah, thank you for sending those get well cards and whatever. That's awesome.
Yes, I do. I appreciate that.
Okay, let's move on to the calendar, and this is the last thing. February 4th, last year I took a couple events by myself. I'm asking that they ask the church to come to these, so I'm going to ask if you could come to these. February the 25th at 4 p.m., we'll be at the Church Deliverance as a church, so all of you that can come, if you could please come with us over there. I think I am speaking. If not, they still ask for our church to come, so let's please support that. March 17th, Mount Zion in Portsmouth. That was the one that Betty came and bailed me out on this past year. Remember that? They want us to come back. I was supposed to bring the church. There was a miscommunication, so me and Bishop went. But they asked the church to go down for that. Now, here's what I would suggest, if you can, if you want to. They have a place down there called the River. If you want to go down there before church, man, awesome place. A little bit pricey, so save up the dollars. But like on March 17th, I would imagine it's going to be 4 or 4:30. I will get the exact time, and then we will make sure that who is ever going, we will be out of here early enough to get down there and grab a bite to eat wherever you want to grab a bite to eat. I'll have the address of Mount Zion and all of that and the time. But Tara and I are going to the river after that day, so just something as a church. Let me back up, something I forgot to mention. I would also like to see this in 2024. I would like to see the brothers are going to get together. Thanks, Steve, for volunteering. We're going to get together and we're just going to go out and have breakfast at Golden Corral until we get this annex fixed. Once we get our annex fixed, I think the brothers could just say, hey, brothers, let's meet here the next 2 Saturdays from now. You bring eggs, you bring sausage, and we just mix it up and sit down and just, the brothers get together. I would like to see the sisters do that as well. Amen.
I think it would be nice if they took the widows out for breakfast.
No.
Okay. Look. So.
Living alone is a lonely life.
Yes.
And it's nice to be around people. And I'm the type of person, I'm a private person. I'm not going to call you and tell you, oh, I'm having a bad day or something like that. But bring a little
That's on my calendar.
Can Faye, I'm glad you said that. Tara and I talked about that. Her plan this past year was to bring all of the widows and widowers in the back and do this big breakfast for them. That was her plan. And then we got hit with this. And we've written down the names, and we talked to Shalon and said, hey, can you invite your mom? Because when you look at other churches taking care of our widows, you know, I feel a certain kind of way about that. We should be taking care of ours. And that was our plan, and we're going to hit that again this year, absolutely.
I think sometimes the seasoned saints,
We've had that on.
something with them too.
We've had that on there. Taking care of our senior citizen saints and bringing them in. Yes. Great. And that stuff we talked about, that's confirmation. And that's going to get done. Even if we get the annex or not, if we don't get the annex in a quick time turnaround, we're probably going to have something like that. Tara Barber discussed it down at the big building. We're going to bring the widowers in. We want to bring our elderly in. I can't say senior citizens because the majority of our people are senior. I'm awful close. But just something to show our love and appreciation to everybody. I'm telling you, I appreciate you. I love you. Somebody asked me the other week, they said, how's pastoring? I said, it's not hard at all, man. It's pretty easy. Bam, this goes wrong and that goes wrong. I said, man, what you open your mouth for? It's a very stressful, but it's a very rewarding position. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you guys. You like my family. Tara tells you I worry about you. I'm supposed to be on vacation, and I'm on Facebook yelling, I can't hear! Turn this person down! Turn this person up! I'm yelling. I'm like, why do you play that for? I'll be on vacation doing that because my heart is here. So, back to this. March 17th, April 5th through the 7th will be the anniversary. And then September 20th and 21st, we will be hosting the Ohio Auxiliary meeting here. We will have nothing to do with that. All we'll do is host. We'll have the annex by then, and we could probably think about, we don't like to charge money, but feeding them. We don't like to charge money because people got to pay to stay here, but we'll discuss that on September 20th and 21st. August is the General Convention. Whether you go or not, ministers, we need to be prepared to pay. So I'm giving you fair warning, ministers and deacons, be prepared to pay your dues. Last year, the church took care of it. This year, we have to take care of our own. So remember, coming August, you need to have your dues, and you know approximately what they are. They haven't changed. My anniversary is April 5th through 7th. Yes, that's the anniversary.
Oh, you did.
Okay. So just remember that, ministers and deacons, come August, this is where we're going to be. We have to pay for our dues. All right. Now, any questions thus far? PT.
You know, we used to have a picnic, we wouldn't do that anymore, or I thought that was a great gathering, you know, everyone, so.
It was, yeah. I've been slow. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better.
Okay.
Last year was the first year we hadn't had it. That's because I get my boys together, get me to Germany, and I promise I'm gonna do better.
We normally do it in September. We'll work on getting the date, and we'll get the shelter. Just let me know the date.
Yeah, remember I shipped Michael to Germany in September.
And this is, I appreciate that because 100 minds are better than one. You just can't think of everything. But yeah, we have had that, and that's been a good gathering. And we'll do it again. We'll do it on a Sunday again, and that'll be our church down there. We'll have prayer, and we'll just hang out and have fun as a family. So look for that around September. We'll do that around September. We'll get the date and then make sure everyone is lined up for that. Okay, I've given that, Evangelist.
I'm sorry. Someone mentioned to me about the schoolyard and having church down there or
Down where?
Down the
at the
schoolyard.
Schoolyard.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Aren't y'all doing that anymore?" And so I said, "Sure we are."
Let's work on that because I would like to do that. The problem I had last time, the city wasn't very cooperative with getting the
No,
election.
they weren't.
Now that I work for the city, that's not going to be an issue. So we'll make sure that gets done. They didn't have the city. They didn't have the electrical on. They knew I was there. You best believe I have the keys to everything down there, bathrooms and everything. And we will get that. And we don't need a permit to do that. We'll just wait till the weather breaks and we'll just say, okay, everybody, this Sunday we're going to go down there and have service down in the schoolyard. I like that. Anything else?
Excuse me, because I don't hear half the time, but Kara was talking about things to do to raise money, you know. Some of us, you know, can do certain things and some of us can't. Now, I'm not one for getting out and doing the things, you know, because I can't go back there and work like I used to. When you get older, there are certain things you can't do. But I thank God that Bishop and I are financially able to do. So my encouragement is to those and to everyone. I was noticing what Shalon put in about $39,000 for tithes. That is great. So we need to think about, the money that we need to turn into the church, instead of just getting it to ourselves. So when we have this table thing, I'll buy a ticket from somebody. I won't take a table, but I will buy it. I don't think I need
Yes, she needs it. Go ahead.
Oh, I won't take a table, but I'll buy a ticket from somebody, and then I will make a contribution for that table. So I just like to encourage people to give. I know Michael won't probably be saying it a lot, but if you can give. Bishop and I talked about what we need to do for the church this year, which is nobody else's business, but we have things that we're just, monies that we're going to give to the church. So that would be something that, for those of you who have a job and an income or whatever, to think about.
Don't laugh, Shalon. Don't laugh at him. You encourage him when you laugh. And another thing I'm going to start up again this year, because we haven't had one for a long time, is a church anniversary. That having your church anniversary, that money goes directly to the church. And we haven't. When's the last time we had a church anniversary? It's been a long time since we've had one, and I think that was just another one of my suggestions, that we start having our church anniversary again. I don't know why we stopped, but I think that's another way of raising money for the church, so. The pastor's anniversary is, usually it's March, the end of March, but this year it's Easter. So church's anniversary was always in November. And that's where I want to continue to have it, because that's the anniversary, so. Huh? Not really. What? Okay. All right. Here. Okay.
Sorry, Tara.
Came along, and I caught one fellow leaving the door open a couple of days ago. This was after the wind came along and blew one of the doors off. Now, when I first put the box out there, I had hooks on it to make sure that it kept closed all the time. Somebody tore the hooks off, and so there we go. The wind came along and tore one of the doors off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace that door, but what I'm going to do, because of the way the wind blows all the time, I'm going to nail that one shut. And that way, they can always use the one on the left to get in there to get what they need, okay? That's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to make sure that they can see what's behind that door, but it's going to be nailed shut. Because, like I said, I'm standing there watching the guy shove things in his pockets and everything, and he starts across the street dropping canned goods and stuff in the middle of the street and everything. And the door was wide open. So I asked him, I said, why didn't you shut the door? And he looked at me and mumbled something like that. And I said, well, at least you could have shut it. He says, don't worry, I'll be back.
So, I want to first, that blessing box has been huge. We've done a lot. Yes, we've done a lot. I think a couple of things that I wanted to do, we haven't done as far as giving, but we've done a lot. I wanted to pay for people's groceries around the holidays. I think when we become financially, we take a credit or card out there, a church card, and say, hey, let's bless you, Glorious Church. I want to do that, but that's down the road. You have done a lot. You have been great. I appreciate you. You support me in everything that we try to do. I appreciate that. The transition.
We love you. That's what he said. Yes, we do.
Thank you.
You're our pastor. We better love you.
I appreciate it. Last.
When are you taking personal pledges?
I'm not taking pledges. If somebody wants to give, then if you want to give toward anything beyond just see Shalana, let her know what it's for, and then give it to her. But I'm not going to take any pledges, if you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so if you that use Cash App, we know there's only a few of us. But like when I pay, I know I'm a shell. I think other people pay. So I earmark offering, and then when I pay my tithes, I put tithes on there, so she can keep a record. So when you see the pastor not going to the offering plate or to the tithe box, trust me, I'm doing my part. but I just do it on Cash App. I don't mess with the money part of it. Every Sunday, like clockwork, I give it to her. So you can do that. But I think what Sister Mark was talking about pledging, you know, is, yeah, we'll move on. You can pledge it and give it in your heart, and then see Shalon. I'm going to be asking for it to give. I'm going to be asking, I'm going to be bugging you, hey, can we give? Let's remember this, let's remember that. I'm going to be bugging you to do it. But